Hey everybody, it's Dr. Nelson. So hey, I just went through and I graded your NAT assessments, and hey, kudos to everybody because those NATs were amazing. We had the highest score around like 84, I think, and the lowest was around 60. So again, nobody completely bombed. Remember the benchmark was 68, but I think everyone did stellar, especially as this baseline, as understanding, what content we're missing. So just FYI, everyone's going to take that NAT. They're going to look at how many questions they missed. They're going to look at the content areas that they missed, and they're going to formulate your first action plan. Okay. For anyone who scored less than the benchmark, so less than 68, okay, and there were 8 of you out of a class of 32, and not bad, right? And some of you just missed it by a little bit. Literally, it was like a 67.2. So you're like one question off from hitting the benchmark. But for those of you who scored less than a 68%, you're going to need to meet with Morgan Leak. Morgan is our Kaplan remediation specialist. She's here on site and she's going to run you through some remediation for that NAT. Okay. So I'm going to make sure on this announcement I put up Morgan's email. Morgan knows you're coming her way. You need to get that remediation done in the next couple of weeks because Morgan's also like 9 months pregnant and she's getting ready to bounce. So I want you to meet with her. That's a requirement for not meeting the benchmark on this NAT, and do what she needs you to do as far as remediation in addition to your action item. Okay, your action plan. Other than that, the next exam that we have coming up is called the diagnostic exam. The diagnostic is not proctored. You'll just get in and you'll take it. I'm actually going to set that window up today, and I'll let you know on the announcement when that window is set for. The diagnostic is another assessment that comes after the NAT. So, okay, now we've had the NAT. Now the diagnostic is going to give us a little bit more information on where you're weak on. Okay. So lots of questions. Again, everyone's getting in using those Q banks, and it's kind of, unfamiliar. And a lot of people are struggling because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm only hitting like, a 55 or a 60% on the Q banks. It's okay. As the semester goes on, you're going to hit higher and higher on those Q banks. Okay. Again, nuggets. We keep talking about what a nugget is. A nugget is, if I would have known this piece of information, this nugget, I would have been able to answer that question. Or even if you took a solid guess on the question and you're sitting there looking at the screen going, I have no idea what they're asking me. I haven't even seen that before, right? Some kind of weird traction, some kind of medication, something you've never seen. As you're taking these QBank questions, write it down, okay? That's a nugget. Keep those because those are going to be the things that you need to go back and look up. Those are things you don't know. Don't just take the question and skip through it. That's some of the things that I'm kind of seeing. So as I'm getting on to grade your Q banks, I'm looking at some of these times and you guys are submitting it at 11:25 on Sunday night. I see you're blowing through the Q banks. They're timed, you guys. I can see that you're taking 150 questions or a 75 bank in like 20 minutes. Not cool. Okay. You've got to spend the time on these questions. Spend the times on the questions. You get legit scores, then I can really help you. If you're blowing through the Q banks, of course you're going to do poor. And I don't know if you really just don't know the content or you just skidded through it to get the points, right? To get the assignment. I could care less what your grade is in this class. Your job is not to obtain a grade. It's to really identify what you don't know for NCLEX. So when I boot you out of here, you're ready to go. Okay. I promise if you put the time in now, when you graduate, you're going to be fine and you're not going to have to cram all this information. Okay. So another thing I want you to start thinking about over the next couple of weeks, because you don't have a whole lot going on before we get into like the live review and the secure predictor, but on your on the side there on the left hand side, you have your board, your Indiana Board of Nursing. So I want you guys to start working on your application. So you've got a couple of things. You've got the application you have to complete. You need 2 pictures that are passport size. Okay. And you also need a $50 check or money order. You need to get those done as soon as possible. I know they're due a little bit later, but sometimes we have issues with people not doing them right, or the pictures are weird. I want you to understand the pictures have to be very clear and you have to be in a white button down shirt or a white shirt of some sort. Okay. It's from here up and your face has to be clear. It's almost like, a photo that you have for the BMV. Okay. This is the photo that the Board of Nursing is going to get to process your application. Okay. So you fill out the front part of the application, send the second page too, because the second page is what I use to sign off. So the application, the money order or check for $50 that goes to the Indiana Professional Licensing Agency, and then your two pictures. On both of your pictures, on the very bottom, on the front, you need to sign across your shirt. Leave me a little space so I can sign either above or below it, okay? You send that in. When you guys pass the course, okay, I take your picture and I do your certificate of completion and I send that to the board. But before that, we have to send your application in with your money order, okay? And that's what gets your application started. We do that early because there are things like fingerprinting and your background check, and you have to verify your LPN licenses. There's a lot of steps that have to go. You have to pay your Pearson VUE. There's some steps that have to be done before you even graduate. We get that done so that way when I send your certificate of completion in at the end of the program, which is that second sheet on your application, everything's ready to go. Your authorization to test comes extremely fast after you graduate. That's why you all take in Indiana. You can sit anywhere in the country at a Pearson testing center, but you're actually going to be given an Indiana license. Okay. We do that for a couple of reasons. You're graduating from an Indiana program. And second, I have a direct and personal connection with the Indiana Board of Nursing. So if there are any issues, I can go right to them, clear it up in 2 seconds. Okay. So this brings me to another point while I'm talking about it. If you have had in the past any infractions against your LPN license, or you've had any personal issues such as a DUI, domestic assault, anything of that nature that's going to pop up on your background or that's going to pop up on your LPN license, I need to know about it before we send that application in. Okay. So you all need to send me just a personal email that just says, hey, Dr. Nelson, FYI, I have this or I've had that. I just want to let you know. Okay. This shouldn't be a surprise for me or anybody else because you're always supposed to identify those things throughout the program if they happen, but stranger things have happened. We have to evaluate that before it goes to your application because I don't want anything to keep you from getting your RN license. Okay. So again, if you have any issues like that, even if they happened 15 years ago, if they still come up as a blemish on your license, just let me know because I want to have a heads up before we send that application in. Okay. So things going on. NAT remediation. If you fell below the 68%, you're going to get with Morgan Leak and go through the remediation. Everyone should be working on that first action plan. Everyone should be hitting the Q banks hard, working on those nuggets. In addition, gearing up for the diagnostic exam, which I have scheduled in Kaplan, not proctored. You just jump on and you take it. Okay. In addition to that, please start working on your Indiana license with your $50 check or money order and your 2 pictures with the white shirt from here up. And don't forget to sign it. You're going to send it to Jake Jenkins. The address is there. Okay. And when Jake gets it, he'll send you an email saying, hey, confirmed, I got it. Once I get all of those in together, okay, we're going to send them in all as one packet deal, and then we'll start working on the other items. Other than that, I'm incredibly impressed with all of your NAT scores. Seriously, even if you fell below the 68, no one was so low that it scared me, right? I'm not scared. I was very, very pleased with those scores. And y'all that hit the 70s and 80s, that's pretty amazing. You should be really proud. Okay. Awesome. If you guys need anything, I'm here. Let me know. Don't fret over the QBank scores. You're going to get higher and higher and higher. Okay. Other than that, have a great week, guys. And let's rock out this week. Bye-bye.